I'll ask a question. I think, let me put that raise hand thing there back. Okay, so yeah, I think I've been appreciating learning from you, Sunim, about how to approach people and manage people's issues and problems. It's also been very helpful for my work. And then even amongst the social circles, people are coming up to me and talking about their problems. I think there's some problems I find especially fascinating because it kind of sticks on my mind because it's very. They'll come up to me and they'll tell me about a situation that's like unsolvable or unfixable, like, and what can you say? And then like for example, like if somebody decide they're like at 40 years old and they lost their job, it's just terrible. And then what is the solution to that problem? Or another classic one. Well, I call it classic because I kind of made some friends with some Persian friends or Iranian friends, and there's like a revolution in their country, and a lot of people are dying, and I just, again, it's kind of like, it's more like I'm just sitting there and listening, and it's very heavy on their minds, and it does require also myself to kind of step back and sort of process the situation. Like, wow, that there's quite literally nothing, or it's really difficult to change that. And another example is people coming into my office and talking about their kids on drugs, and they say like you know, my kid's on drugs, doctor. Then what do I do about it? But you know, it's devastating to the parents, and then I don't have like a really fantastic answer too, or no matter what answer you say, or it's really hard for them. So I find those things kind of course, your teachings or the Buddhist teachings are about, like, you know, try not to add that weight onto ourselves, and the best thing is to kind of be present for the person and listen. And maybe some things in life, they don't have any solutions. And yeah, I think, how do we continue going about with sort of those sort of heavy things that occasionally come in mind and there's no solution to the problem at all?
두 가지 관점을 좀 가졌으면 좋겠다.
So I want you to consider two perspectives.
첫째는 내가 원하는 것이 다 이루어질 수 없다.
The first perspective is not everything I want is going to come true.
근데 우리는 내가 원하는 것이 이루어질 수 있다고 이렇게 착각을 하고 있는 거예요.
But we live our lives under the mistaken assumption that what I want should come true.
아니면 내가 원하는 것은 이루어져야 된다고 생각을 하거나요.
Or what I want must come true.
그렇기 때문에 원하는 것이 이루어지지 않을 때 괴로움이 생깁니다.
So suffering arises when what I want does not happen.
그런데 우리는 원하는 것이 이루어지지 않았기 때문에 괴로움이 생긴다, 이렇게 생각하고 있어요.
But we think the source of our suffering is that the thing I wanted didn't happen.
원하는 것이 이루어지지 않다고 괴로움이 생기는 건 아니에요.
But the suffering did not arise just because that thing you wanted didn't happen.
원하는 것이 이루어지지 않을 때 괴로움이 생기는 것은 원하는 것은 이루어져야 된다고 생각하거나 또는 이루어지면 좋겠다라고 하고 집착을 하고 있기 때문에 생기는 겁니다.
The underlying cause of your suffering in that case is your desire, your attachment for that thing to happen, that you wanted it to happen.
그러니까 사람은 누구나 다 원하는 것이 있습니다.
So everybody has something that we want to happen.
그건 이루어질 수도 있고 이루어지지 않을 수도 있습니다.
And those things may happen or may not happen.
또 이루어진다고 반드시 좋다는 보장도 없습니다.
And tell you the truth, just because something that we wanted happens doesn't mean it's necessarily good for us.
그것이 이루어져서 결과적으로 나중에 더 나빠질 때도 많이 있기 때문에.
Because there are a lot of cases in which something we wanted did happen and actually turned out bad.
그래서 이루어진다고 너무 좋아할 것도 없다 이런 얘기. 어떨지 모르겠다 다음 단계.
So there's no reason for you to be overexcited just because something you wanted to, actually happen.
이루어지지 않았다고 괴로울 일도 아니라는 거예요.
Conversely, there's really no cause for you to really suffer and feel bad just because something you wanted didn't happen.
이루어지지 않았을 때 그때도 원하면 또 하면 되고 그때 한번 안 되니까 원하지 않으면 그만두면 됩니다.
If something you wanted didn't happen, if you want to, you can try again. Or if you want to, you can just give up.
근데 잘못 알고 있는 거는 원하는 것을 원하는 마음을 내지 마라 이렇게 우리가 잘못 알고 있는 겁니다.
But we think the mistaken conception we have is that they think that we teach people not to evince any desire, any want in the first place.
그러니까 원하는 마음이 일어나지 않으면 괴로울 일이 없는 건 맞습니다.
Of course, it is true that if you have no desire, then you will not cause any suffering.
그러나 원하는 마음이 일어났다 하더라도 그것이 반드시 이루어져야 된다 이런 생각을 하지 않으면 괴로움이 일어나지 않습니다.
But even if you evince a desire, if as long as you don't think that desire must happen or must come true, then you don't cause any suffering.
두 번째가 남이 나한테 원하는 거를 내가 다 해줄 수 없다는 겁니다.
The second perspective I want you to bring to this situation is that you can't do everything, you can't satisfy everybody else's desire either.
그런데 우리는 남이 원하는 거를 해줄 수 있다고 착각을 하는 겁니다.
And we actually go through life thinking that we can address what everybody else wants of us.
아니면 해줘야 된다는 의무감을 갖거나
Or we feel duty bound to satisfy others' desires of us.
남이 원하는 걸 내가 다 해줄 수 없습니다.
But there's no way we can satisfy others' desire, all these people's desires on us.
이것이 사실이에요.
And that's the fact.
그러니까 해줄 수 있는 건 해주면 돼요.
So, you can address, you can satisfy some desires or some people's wants of you if you can.
근데 그 중에도 해줄 수는 있는데 해주고 싶은 게 있고 해주기 싫은 것도 있습니다.
But of those, there are things that you can do, but you don't want to do.
그러면 해주고 싶은 건 해주고 해주기 싫으면 안 해주면 되는 거예요.
Then, if you don't want to do something, although you can do it, don't do it.
근데 해주기 싫은 거는 마음을 바꿔가지고 해주는 쪽으로 옮길 수도 있습니다.
But, if you don't want to do something, but then you can rethink and say, okay, maybe I can do it, so I will do it. So it is possible for you to change your mind.
그러나 이것은 해줄 수 있는 일에 속하는 겁니다.
But even that just belongs to those areas, those desires of others that you can actually satisfy.
그러나 해줄 수 없는 일이 있습니다.
But there are those things that you cannot do. You cannot satisfy those.
그래서 내 잘못이 아닙니다.
And it's not your fault if you can't do what you can't do.
그러니까 그것은 sorry, 제가 할 수 없습니다. 이러면 돼요.
And all you have to do is say, sorry, I can't do that.
그렇기 때문에 내가 하고 싶은 내 마음에 집착해서 괴로움이 생기거나 남이 나한테 요구하는 것 때문에 괴로움이 생기거나 이러는 거예요.
So the suffering arises from your desire to see what you want to come true or your desire to satisfy what others want of you.
근데 그 요구하는 것 때문에 그 사람 때문에 괴로움이 생기는 게 아니라 내가 해줘야 된다고 생각하기 때문에 괴로움이 생긴다는 거예요.
So your suffering does not come from the situation or whatever story you hear from others. The suffering comes from your instinctive desire to actually do something about it.
그냥 할 수 있는 만큼 하면 됩니다.
But when all you can do is what you can do.
뭐 들어주는 것도 한 방법이고,
And listening to them is one way.
뭐 조금 도와줄 수 있는 어떤 조건이 된다면 도와주면 되고,
And if you're in a situation to help them a little bit, then go ahead and do so.
뭐 밥을 한 끼 사줄 수 있으면 도움이 된다면 밥을 사줄 수도 있고.
If buying a meal for them helps them, then go ahead, treat them to a dinner.
그 많은 사람들이 저한테 이런 질문을 합니다.
So a lot of people ask me this question.
지금 친구가 죽어가고 있는데
My friend is dying.
그러니까 문안을 가고 싶은데
I want to go visit him in hospital.
어떻게 해야 그 친구에게 위로가 되는 말을 할 수 있습니까?
What can I tell him to comfort him, the dying friend?
그래서 그 어떤 말을 하면 될 것 같았냐 물어봅니다.
So I asked back, so what are the words that you think you should say?
모르겠습니다.
He goes, I don't know.
그래서 선생님한테 물어보는 거 아니에요.
That's why I'm asking you, Venerable.
그럼 입장을 바꿔놓고 생각해보자.
So I said, you know what, let's change places here.
내가 지금 곧 죽어가는 상태다. 하루 이틀 남았다.
So I have only a day or two left to live. I'm dying.
그래 어떤 사람이 와서 나한테 한두 마디 말한다고 내 이 고통이 사라지겠느냐.
Then just because somebody else comes and tells me a nice words or two, do you think the suffering, this pain will go away?
아닙니다.
And he goes, no.
근데 너는 사람이 죽음에 이르렀는데 몇 마디 말로 그 사람이 위로할 수 있다고 생각하는 게 너의 과대망상이다.
Then conversely, you're thinking that you can go to a dying person and with a few words, and you can bring comfort to that person. Then you're definitely overestimating your capabilities.
그러니까 내가 할 수 없는 일을 지금 하려고 하고 있는 거다.
Basically, you're trying to do things that's impossible to do.
그러니까 그 사람을 위해서 하는 것 같지만은 그것은 너의 문제다.
So basically, you think you're doing this, offering this words of comfort to the other person for their own good, for their comfort, but you're mistaken.
가서 손만 잡고 가만히 있으면 된다.
All you have to do is go hold their hands and just stay there. You don't have to say anything.
그리고 뭐 옛날 학교 다닐 때 옛날 얘기 좀 할 수 있으면 하고 싶으면 하면 된다.
And if you want, you can talk about when you went to school together.
왜 특별히 자꾸 문제를 해결해 주려고 그러냐?
You know, why do you approach a situation with a need to solve that situation somehow,
해결할 능력도 없으면서.
without even the capacity to solve?
그러니까 우리는 할 수 있는 걸 그냥 하면 돼요.
So all we have to do is just do what we can do.
그 사람이 돈이 필요하면 병원비를 좀 주든지.
If that person needs financial help for hospital bills, if you can help out, go ahead.
안 그러면 만나서 손을 잡아주든지.
Or just go and hold his hand.
말이 나오면 말을 하든지.
If somehow a conversation gets started, then engage in a conversation.
죽어가는 사람 앞에서 무슨 가식적으로 말을 하려고 그러냐.
What kind of performance of words of comfort do you need to put on in front of a dying person?
여러분들 죽은 사람을 위해서 문상 갈 때를 생각해 보세요.
The same thing when you visit somebody, somebody at a funeral or a wake.
그 죽은 사람을 위해서 갑니까?
Do you go to a funeral or wake for that dead person?
나를 위해서 갑니까?
Or do I go there for me?
여러분들이 간다고 죽은 사람한테 무슨 문제가 됩니까? 무슨 도움이
Just because
됩니까?
you show up, or just because you show up to a funeral, what kind of help does that offer to the person who's already dead?
근데 우리는 그가 떠나는 마지막 길을 내가 가서 배웅을 해야 되겠다 이렇게 생각합니다.
But the way we actually kind of euphemize this is that we're going there to say goodbye, to ease that person's last path.
그것은 나의 문제지 그의 문제가 아니에요.
No, I'm doing this for me, not him.
그러니까 내가 할 수 있는 만큼 하면 된다.
Just do what you can do.
이란의 민주화 운동에 대해서 내가 설파하는 것보다는 뭐 인터넷에 글을 하나 쓰든지 거기 활동하는 사람에게 돈을 10불 보내는 게 더 그들에게 도움이 된다는 거.
So instead of feeling sad and depressed about the suffering of the Iranians and their revolution, maybe write something on the internet that helps them, gives them courage, or donate even $10 to their cause.
내가 설파하는 건다고 해서 나에게도 남에게도 아무 도움이 안 된다는 거.
Because my sadness doesn't help me, nor does it help anybody else.
그러나 그런 뭐 잘못됐다는 거 아니에요. 그런 감정이 내가 일어나고 있을 뿐이라는 거예요.
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that, that sense of sadness is an emotion that you are experiencing.
그런 분노가 일어날 뿐이라는 거예요.
And I'm saying that rage or anger is something that's just happening as a phenomenon.
이것보다는 활동하는 단체에 도네이션을 하든지 인터넷으로 응원하는 글을 하나 보내는 게 더 낫다는 거예요.
But what's more constructive and helpful, instead of wallowing in those emotions, is for you to write something supporting them or send them money.
이건 내가 할 수 있는 일이라는 거예요.
Because these are things that you can do.
Well, I guess I should respond back. It's interesting because I feel like I knew Bum Yusunim a long time, so it's a sort of a similar answer I heard like 10 years ago. So I think I need to definitely work on myself, come back to it. It's an unresolved thing that I can definitely practice and work on. And I think some of this may have stemmed from just also I'm just suddenly remembering a patient that I lost, and I felt terrible about it. And just thank you.
네, 의사를 하니까 의사를 하면 죽는 사람을 보통 사람보다 많이 볼 수밖에 없습니다.
Practicing as a doctor, you're bound to see more people suffering and dying than any other person, a normal person.
우리가 나이가 들면 우리 주위에 죽는 소식을 많이 들을 수밖에 없습니다.
And as we age, become older, we're bound to hear more of our contemporaries dying.
내가 어릴 때는 죽는 소식을 할머니 정도밖에 들을 수 없습니다.
And when I was little, young, the only person that I heard of dying was my grandma.
내가 나이가 들면 지금 70인데 나이가 들면 이제 부모 세대 죽는 소식, 친구 죽는 소식, 후배 죽는 소식, 이 죽는 소식이 늘어날 수밖에 없잖아요.
So when I get older, I'm 70 now, then I'm bound to hear more, news of people dying of my, parents' generation, my contemporaries, and even my juniors.
얼마 전에 이런 질문을 받았습니다.
So recently I received this question.
혼자서 죽어서 아무도 모르는 그런 사건, 그걸 한국에서는 고독사라는데요. 그것이 많이 늘어나는 것에 대해서 왜 이게 많이 늘어나느냐 이런 질문을 받았습니다.
So one of the questions I heard is that there's a growing phenomenon in Korea in which death goes unnoticed because the person has died in isolation and there was no social connection to really notice his death. And the question was, why do such kind of isolation death, is called, happen more often in Korea?
이것은 1인 가구가 늘어나기 때문에 생기는 그냥 사회적 현상입니다.
And it's actually a natural phenomenon of a growing single person households.